You are on the channel Quotes of Great Men. Enjoy watching. I do not think it is permitted that a better man be harmed by a worse. The disposition of noble dogs is to be gentle with people they know and the opposite with those they don't know. How, then, can the dog be anything other than a lover of learning, since it defines what's its own and what's alien? Love is the joy of the good, the wonder of the wise, the amazement of the gods, desired by those who have no part in him, and precious to those who have the better part in him. Wine fills the heart with courage. What a handsome face he had, but if he were naked you would forget he had a face. He is so beautiful in every way. You may be sure, dear Crito, that inaccurate language is not only in itself a mistake, it implants evil in men's souls. Mathematics is the language in which the gods talk to people. Any peace is better than any war. Between knowledge of what really exists and ignorance of what does not exist lies the domain of opinion. It is more obscure than knowledge, but clearer than ignorance. Geometry draws the soul towards truth. The only thing worse than suffering an injustice is committing an injustice. But at 3, 4, 5, and even 6 years the childish nature will require sports. Now is the time to get rid of self-will in him, punishing him, but not so as to disgrace him. Whereas the truth is that the state in which the rulers are most reluctant to govern is always the best and most quietly governed, and the state in which they are most eager, the worst. Few men are so obstinate in their atheism that a pressing danger will not compel them to acknowledgement of a divine power. No attempt of curing the body should be made without curing the soul. Do not use compulsion, but let early education be rather a sort of amusement. I know too well that these arguments from probabilities are impostors, and unless great caution is observed in the use of them, they are apt to be deceptive. When the tyrant is disposed of foreign enemies by conquest, and there is nothing to fear from them, then he's always stirring up some war. In one sense it is evident that the art of kingship does include the art of lawmaking. But the political ideal is not full authority for laws, but rather full authority for a man who understands the art of kingship and has kingly ability. The race of the guardians must be kept pure. Man is a prisoner who has no right to open the door of his prison and run away. A man should wait, and not take his own life until God summons him. Then not only an old man, but also a drunkard, becomes a second time a child. Mathematics is like drafts in being suitable for the young, not too difficult, amusing, and without peril to the state. They deem him their worst enemy who tells them the truth. Virtue is a kind of health, beauty, and good habit of the soul. Too much attention to health is a hindrance to learning, to invention, and to studies of any kind, for we are always feeling suspicious shootings and swimmings in our heads, and we are prone to blame studies from them. Prefer diligence before idleness, unless you esteem rust above brightness. Wise men speak because they have something to say. Of all the gods, love is the best friend of humankind, the helper and healer of all ills that stand in the way of human happiness. All the gold upon the earth and all the gold beneath it does not compensate for lack of virtue. Those who practice philosophy in the right way are in training for dying, and they fear death least of all men. So the nature required to make a really noble guardian of our commonwealth will be swift and strong, spirited, and philosophic. I have hardly ever known a mathematician who was capable of reasoning. Injustice is censured because the censors are afraid of suffering, and not from any fear which they have of doing injustice. Books are immortal sons deifying their sires. Ignorance, the root of all evil. States are as the men, they grow out of human characters. Many are the thyrsus bearers, but few are the mystics. An old man is twice a child, and so is a drunken man. Man is a prisoner who has no right to open the door of his prison and run away. A man should wait, and not take his own life until God summons him. No one knows whether death may not be the greatest of all blessings for a man, yet men fear it as if they knew it was the greatest of evils. No man's nature is able to know what is best for the social state of man, or, knowing, always able to do what is best. If you watch to the end, I am very grateful to you. Watch also these videos.